to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. All right, this is your first time tuning in. Real quick, I will let you know this is the Mindset Matters channel where we talk about different mindset topics, where I help you to minimize stress and focus on the good. We also have the Mindset Matters program. Go to www.mindsetmattersmore.net and jump in. Okay, I'm gonna go right into it. Know what I'm doing, what's happening right now, right into it. All right. How to be okay not being okay, right? Like how to be okay when you're not okay. That's the topic I have for you today. How to be okay when you're not okay. Now, this happens to all of us. At some point, we're not okay. And you got to find out how to be okay. You got to find a way to be okay when you're not okay. Otherwise, you could be really damaging yourself mentally, sometimes physically. And we want to prevent all that. We want to do our best to focus on the good and minimize our stress levels. So, how do you do that? Well, it all comes with awareness. Awareness is the game, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be very, very, very aware of things in your life, and you have to be very self-aware and self-conscious of the different things that are happening in your life, whether they be repeated patterns, loops, associations, all of that. And so to be okay with not being okay, you first got to realize that that's a simple choice. It's a choice to say, you know what, I'm gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Or you could choose to be like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. And you could just flip out, right? Those are both choices. That's awareness. You have to be aware that those are actual choices, right? And that's with any situation, people. Okay? Any situation. You can choose to say, I'm going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. Or, I have no idea what's happening. Oh my God. And flip out. Those are choices. Now, you can sit here and say, no, there's not, there's emotions and you can't choose your emotions and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. If that's what you decide to think, then you are correct. Okay, I'm gonna let you know that right away. You are correct because that is what you are deciding is the truth for you. Now, if we want to go based off of factual information, the facts are simply that we choose every day to feel a certain way. Now, that is the truth, and that is a fact based off of the way our human brain works. Now, if you understand how the human brain works, it has to send a signal for your body to respond, or your mouth to respond, or your eyes to respond. All of it is initially a choosing of, this is what I want you to do. Okay? Now, there are some things that seemingly happen autonomously, like blinking. You're like, well, I'm not choosing to blink, but you did at one point. You just programmed it so that now it happens over and over and over again because your body recognized that it was something that was absolutely necessary. Okay? So that is the first level, guys. Just realizing, okay, I can choose to be okay. I can choose to say, hey, I want to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And then you can be okay in that. Now, adding the feeling of being okay is going to take some practice. You're going to have to not feel okay and literally choose to say and force your mind to understand that you actually can be okay over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then eventually your body will catch on and be like, oh, okay, no, we'll be okay. Right? You have to go through this practice to mastery process of training your mind to understand that that is an actual valid choice. Because if it doesn't feel like there's a valid choice there, then that's when you get the feeling of it's out of my control. When specifically in that realm, it is definitely in your control. Okay. Now there's two parts to this. Okay. That was the first part. The second part is that you must understand that you have made choices, and those choices have effects. The law of cause and effect. Every single choice we make every day, to all the way down to how you put your pants on, right leg first or left leg first, affects the future. And that in turn is going to cause something to happen, whether it be later, whether it be immediately, whether it be much later into the future. There is going to be a effect based off of what you caused yourself to do. And so if you can really understand that idea, when things happen, you can dive into the understanding of, well, this is what my kid's mom likes to say, which is in a more positive direction. I appreciate it. So shout out to her. Is that it's your responsibility, right? I used to always say fault. Well, it's my fault. It's my fault. Well, I guess that kind of sounds a little negative. And when she told me that, I was like, oh, you know what? I agree with you. Okay, let me start changing that up. Based off of awareness, I'm like, you know what? Wow, I wasn't aware of that. She made me aware of that. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to make steps to change that. And so I am proactively choosing to change the way that I communicate that. And that is with so many different things. That's with so many different things. Once we become aware of it, we can choose to alter or modify whatever we decide. So, you've made choices in the past, and sometimes they're bad choices and they come back and bite you. You reap what you sow. That is biblical. Okay? That is the truth. That's why it is written. You will reap what you sow. So sometimes, even when you've completely turned your life around, silly stuff still comes up. And sometimes it is from your past. And you're like, why? I've changed. I've turned my life around. Why is this coming back to bite me? It's because you already set it in place. I say all the time, that's why I love time travel movies, because every single decision you make, my favorite one is Back to the Future, by the way. Every single decision you make affects the future. Every single one. And there's ramifications either way, good and bad. And once you can really understand and accept that, then you'll be okay not being okay. Right? And this is really just deep self-reflection based off of my personal experiences and really sciencing my life and decoding it and deciphering it of why did this happen? Why am I going through this? What is going on with blah, 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 blah. That process has helped me to come to this awareness of, okay, because I was not okay. I'm like, I am not okay. Like, this is not okay. I was really having some dark thoughts in my head about just checking out and all type of stuff. I'm going to be really real with y'all, okay? Because I want you to understand that I'm not exempt from that just because I'm coming on here and I'm sharing my ideas with you, Okay, I'm not exempt from that. I still have bouts of this sucks and I want to yell and I want to be angry, or I want to be overly sad, or I want to get into a depressed state. That still happens, and it's gonna happen for a while until I am fully actively weeding these things out over time. And it'll only happen over time because you got to put the practice in, you got to put in the work, you got to put in the mastery. That's just how it goes, and it won't happen all at once. So it's really important to think about that, because as I'm explaining, okay, how do you be okay when you're not okay? It's like, well, you got to make the choice. You gotta make the choice. You gotta say, you know what? I'm gonna be okay even though I'm not okay right now. I'm not okay right now, but I'm gonna be okay. Things are gonna be okay. It's gonna get better. And you have to go into that positive mind space. That's why I always say focus on the good, because yes, the bad is present. It will be there to shake your hand, to slap you in the face, to wave hello. And you'll look at it and be like, why are you here? Why are you here right now? Like, I'm changing my life. I'm doing so much work on myself. What is the problem? Why do you have to show up? And it's because of all the previous choices, all the previous experience. You can't get away from it. It has to work itself out. Whatever you caused has to have an effect. And in certain circumstances, I get it. You could say, but I didn't cause blah, 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 and this is happening to me. Well, you gotta really think about that, because it's happening to you. It's happening to you. So how is that? How is that? And now we don't want to go into the realm where, you know, really crazy things happen, you know, school, you know, shootings, all of that stuff. Is like, well, they didn't ask for this. It's like, you can get real crazy with this, but I'm gonna tell you though, I'm gonna tell you, you can still be okay even though you're not okay, right? Those are not okay situations, but you can still find a way to be okay. And that's what this is really about. It's about how to be okay when you're not okay. So we don't want to get sidetracked and go into different arguments about things that we aren't really going into that realm of in this discussion. We want to just focus on the topic at hand, which is, I want to be okay when I'm not okay. Okay? And so you can choose to say, I'm going to be okay. And you can repeat that as much as you need to. I do that quite often. Things are not going right, and I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. I'm literally repeating that over and over and over in my head. Why? Because I want to program myself. Because now that I have the knowledge that that's a thing, I have to apply it. I can't just be like, oh yeah, well, that's good info. Like, yeah, you gotta, hey, just repeat it and then never do it. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Okay? Once you are aware of the information of how you can literally make yourself better, you need to put in the work. And that's going to be more work on top of the work that you already have. And that is just how it goes. There's no way around it. So I hope you gain from this. I really, truly do, because I was sitting there and I'm like, how do I be okay? I'm not okay. Like, how? I'm not okay right now. And yeah, moment of silence for a good 10, 20 minutes of just deep thought. Like, because I really want to just trip out right now. I really do. But nope, I want to choose to be okay. So that's what I decided to do. And I was like, this is a good topic. So let's create a video, because that helps. It's part of my therapy as well. Expressing this and getting it out there so that I can hopefully help someone, because that is ultimately the goal. So yeah, love you guys very, very much. Remember, mindset matters more than anything else. Why? Because what your mind is set on will dictate your future. Focus on the good. Why? Because if you focus on the good, that is what you will attract. All right. So again, love you guys very much. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Jump into the institutes, www.mindsetmattersmore.net. Let's get it in. Anytime,